Greetings from Mobility Outlook and welcome to Mobility Conversations. We are at Continental's Tech Center, India, and we are going to meet Ms. Lada Chemparakulam, Head of Tech Center, India. Welcome, Lada.
Thank you, Murali. Thanks for this opportunity.
Wanted to know what is TCI and how many divisions are there? What's their work?
Okay, TCI or Tech Center India
Yep.
is the largest automotive R&D center for Continental globally. And we are close to 4,000 engineers housed in the same building at this point of time. And I would say that we are a melting pot of all business areas of Continental, probably the only one. Yeah, so we have all the divisions of Continental here, which is autonomous mobility, architecture, networking. We have smart mobility, then safety and motion, user experience, and a horizontal which we call as SCT, which was originally called as heat, and now it is SCT. So this is what we are, and inside we also have multiple center of excellences, which is actually spearing this business and giving support to all the business areas. And we have center of excellences in software, in system, in agile. We have in product COE. We have an innovation COE. So if you look at it, these are kind of pillars which actually is helping this center to take the competency forward. And also we have a lot of new engineers coming in, so to help them build the competency as well as look at unique cross BA solutions. So that is something which the COEs are helping us.
What is SCT?
SCT is a kind of a horizontal. So as I mentioned, there are 5 business areas in Continental. So SCT, I would say it's a horizontal which is actually serving all these business areas. And as you know, Continental is a lot focused on the the latest innovation, technologies and so on. And SCT is one of a big driver, and it has got under that multiple technology area. For example, research and advanced engineering. Then we have artificial intelligence. We have the process method tools for the entire automotive board, which is kind of defined and rolled out by this area. So like that, there are, for example, HPC, reference integration, some of these latest topics which are there. A lot of them are in this SCT, and SCT actually talks with all the business areas. They also looks at lessons learned. They also bring in a lot of innovation to the business area. So it works closely with all the 5 business areas.
Something like a backbone for the entire...
Absolutely, that's right. And it reports into the Chief Technology Officer.
Okay. New software technologies that you are developing for the automotive mobility solutions.
So if you look at any of the new technologies, what you talk about in the mobility space, Continental is there because we are a pioneer in most of the areas. And if you're looking at IoT, 5G, artificial intelligence, a lot of work which is done on cloud. So almost all the new technologies which is coming up in mobility is there in Continental Automotive. And since we are the biggest R&D partner for Continental Automotive, we can see all these technologies are replicated here. For example, the global cloud COE is based out of Bangalore.
Okay.
So, and we have a good amount of artificial intelligence, algorithm development, research and advance. A lot of topics are run from TCI.
Are there symbiotic relationship between the vehicle networking, architecture, and safety, etc.?
If you look at Conti as a whole, we work for this, we want to look at safety as a big topic, yeah. And if you look at that, all these are pieces of a big puzzle. You cannot really, separate them. For example, whether you're looking at architecture networking, SAM, smart mobility, autonomous, UX, all these things are different pieces of the puzzle of the big puzzle which is called mobility. And there are a lot of synergies of technologies which are existing among them. There are a lot of reuse which is existing between them. So I would say that these are kind of coexisting. And even though they are called different business areas, there's a lot of synergy, a lot of I would say collaborative working across these business areas also.
Now, how do you see the OEM's expectations, changing over a period of time?
I would say it's OEM expectation, the market, the business models, everything is changing in mobility. If you look at the last 10 years, the way mobility has grown and evolved, I would say it's really amazing the way things have changed. So everybody wants, for example, OEMs, a lot of them earlier expected that they want the complete solution from one supplier. So that has changed now.
Okay.
So a lot of them are looking at multiple supplier, software sharing. They want to bring their own developed software systems into it. So a lot of co-development which is happening. So which means that we need to be much more dynamic, much more agile, much more faster, and we should also be very quick in adapting to these new technologies, what I spoke about. Because earlier, if you look at the life cycle of the development in the automotive world, it was much more slower. But now the pace is very fast, and we need to adapt to it and co-development. So that is why agile way of working. We are very much into agile way of working and co-development with the customers, and that is the way to go forward also.
So customers expecting multiple suppliers. That's what you said, no?
Yes.
Is it good for the industry, the supplier industry, or how do you put it?
If you look from maybe one supplier perspective, I have to say it is not that good. But if you look at, but that's the way the mobility industry will evolve.
Okay.
Because when we are talking about mobility and then graduating to mobility as a service and so on, there is no single OEM or a single supplier who can provide everything. So it is going to be a collaborative world. It is going to be a cooperative world. I would say even a competition. It is a cooperation with competition that will exist, because there are some part of the software. If you look at it, they are kind of standard value software, and maybe for 60% maybe. And we have maybe 40% of the software, which is the value add or the differentiator a supplier or a party can bring in. So this will coexist. Yeah.
Okay. From the user experience point of view, which is talked about much, how this particular technology is evolving in PVs, passenger vehicles?
See, if you look at the style, maybe our generation, we were looking at vehicle as something which will take us from point A to point B.
Correct.
So if you ask a youngster, because sometimes I casually ask in the family as well as our employees, what do you see in a vehicle when you buy a vehicle? The new guys will tell, for them it is joy of driving. Safety obviously is the factor, the joy, the ease, the convenience. So the parameters have changed. When I bought the first car, I was asking what is the mileage, right? So now nobody even talks about it. They are asking about what is what kind of features do you get, So I think the way people look at the vehicle itself has changed, and that is why user experience becomes a very important parameter when we are purchasing the passenger vehicles. And there are a lot of technologies which Conti has invested in. With respect to the displays, with respect to the dashboards, there are a lot of interesting technologies. And there is a recent one which is quite interesting, which is called a Shytech. Yeah, so this is a display which you can see when you want, otherwise it's not visible. So which actually saves a lot of other parameters. So the world is moving in a very different direction with respect to user experience, because there are a lot of personalized touches coming. So earlier, for example, if you look at most of these modern cars, it can actually, based on the driver who gets in, maybe you show the biometrics once you get inside, based on your preferences, it will already adjust your seat position, your steering position, your air conditioner and biometric, a lot of things, right? So the car is also becoming a second home for people.
Correct.
They are looking at a very personalized experience than only, fun.
Okay. You said Conti, safety is key for Conti in terms of developing technologies. What kind of advanced technologies TCI is developing from the safety point of view?
From safety point of view, if you look at it, we have multiple topics, I would say, whether starting from the braking system to the autonomous driving. There are many areas which are there. So one of the earlier standard businesses what we have is the braking system. Braking system itself has evolved over a period of time. Yeah, and if you look at the two-wheeler, we are also developing the single channel ABS for India. And there are other braking systems that we are working. And if you look at TCI, we are also an application hub for Asia, which is the Japan, Korea, China market. So a lot of our we have complete responsibility also for these markets along with India. So many of the solutions that we develop here, the application projects are deployed in the other areas. For Indian market, ABS is one of it. Other thing is we also have certain solutions from the autonomous mobility. That is also deployed in India in a big way. So we have this RVS 231. This is also a camera with intelligence built in, which is also used in the Indian market. So there are a lot of technologies which are there because we have unique use cases in India. And my strong belief is that certain technologies have to be developed in India for India, which can be taken by other emerging market. On a lighter note, I say that a cow crossing a road would be a unique use case maybe in a country like India, right? And maybe the potholes, the driving conditions. I think it's a very unique market. So we also need to look at solutions which can be tailored for this market, and very important, the price point also, because some of the products which we have developed for the advanced market, that may not go in India because of the price range. So we need to look at how do we tailor what are the different use cases that we use. So whether it is a no braking system, or whether it's a radar solution, or maybe whether it is a camera solution, whatever it is, we are really focusing on what we want to do for India market.
Okay.
And specifically two-wheeler is a big topic for us. Two-wheeler market, we have a lot of projects running in, and TCA has very good competency in the two-wheeler area. So this is something which we are focusing on.
Since TCI is also getting to the ASEAN market, you said, no, that is
Yeah.
Japan, Korea, those are developed markets. Do you see a lot of scope in getting that cross-pollination of ideas for TCI India to develop solutions for Indian customers?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, because see, there are tried and tested solutions which are there in the developed market. And I think the deployment of that, scaling down of that, learning from those, and developing hardware, software locally, the product development locally is an important thing. So TCI has two advantages, I personally see it. One, as I mentioned, the melting pot of all BAs, you have a lot of learning there. Second is the knowledge that we have for working for the different markets. These two put together helps us to be in a better position to do product development for Indian market and the talent pool which is available. So I think it's a really good positive opportunity that we have, that we should make use of.
You also have a software academy here, right?
Yes.
What is the objective?
So Software Academy is basically looking at building competency on software for the entire Continental Automotive.
Across the world?
Across the world. So it is housed here. The lead of the Software Academy is here. We also have started a Systems Academy now. So basically Software Academy is catering to all the R&D locations in Continental, not only R&D locations, even for others. For example, we had launched a cloud program, and this is not only for R&D but for manufacturing, for tires, for everybody. So software is a big focus for us, and as you know that maybe in the car, if you look at it, 10% of the value of the car is software now, which will grow to 30%. So it's an exponential rise that we see, and it is very important for us to have our people upskilled, reskilled, I would say even de-skilled sometimes in some areas to get there. So Software Academy plays a very important role in the competency development of Continental Automotive itself.
That will also be sharing ideas from different places to evolve, to develop software?
Yes, we have all the locations in the world which are contributing towards it. For example, if you are making an assessment for a particular topic, for cybersecurity, then we actually contact the experts globally, and they also contribute towards developing the content, developing the assessment. So it's basically using the knowledge across the world, that India being a software hub, and since we are strong in the topic, we lead it from here.
Okay. How does Continental headquarters assess the tech centers, and then where does TCI stand?
See, when you look at like any GCC, 2009 it started off as a low cost center for Continental. But what I see now is
With about 70 people or something.
yes, that's right. Yeah, yeah. And now we are 4,500 plus. And when you look at that journey, it is not a volume growth alone. There is a lot of value growth which has happened, and there is a lot of content which is there. There is a lot of product responsibility, complete project responsibility which is there. So Continental Automotive, if you look at it, for them it is not a best cost location alone. It is a best value location, and that is the target for us also to how do we make ourselves the best value location in the entire Continental Automotive world. The advantage what we have is at any point of time, if we want to ramp up with whatever skills, we have been able to do it. And for example, when we were made the application hub for Asia for many of these topics, I think we were very successful in doing it. So this adaptability quotient that we have from the Indian system also has really helped up. And because of the Software Academy plus all the COEs I mentioned, so these are all enablers for us to take our competency from one level to the other in a very fast pace. So that way I think the headquarters views us very positively, and we also get very positive comments on how we are able to develop solutions from this center, how we are able to contribute for innovations from this center. So it's a very positive outlook as far as I see
Are
it.
there key learnings for them? Any one or two instances if you can mention?
One was product development itself in a low cost environment, which actually can be deployed across brick. So some of these, for example, this single channel ABS, what we have developed and all that, I think is there. The second thing what they are looking at is also how are we able to replicate the complicated competencies in a very fast manner, whether it is algorithm development or complex topics. Like for example, radar, if you look at it, majority of the work including the 4D radar is done in India. So our people are able to scale up to that level and deliver global products from here. So these are some of the things which they have looked at it, and the way we form the software academy, the COE, able to quickly service the needs. So there are a lot of positive things there.
Okay. So you said from the software academy point of view, you are connected globally. From
Yeah.
the development point of view, you're connected to global, what leading markets like Japan, Korea, and other things.
No,
So
or globally also.
globally also.
Yeah.
So when you coordinate, what are the challenges that you face, and then how do you mitigate them?
Okay, the one of the challenges earlier, what we used to face, I would say the pre-COVID area was sometimes the infrastructure. Basically, because sometimes you need to have the vehicles to test. So that is a challenge. But during COVID, we have proven that many of these challenges can be managed. Yeah. So I think a lot of things are moving virtual. We have looked at possibilities of remote testings. But I wish that we had more access to, maybe for example, if you're working in a European market, if you have access to vehicles, it is much easier for our people to test our functionality. But now jointly we do it with the counterparts in Europe. For example, either from Romania or from Germany, we do it jointly. Yeah, so this is one challenge sometimes with respect to the infrastructure. But otherwise, I think in terms of the capability and competency, I think no doubts it is possible for us to do it.
Okay. Do you also develop hardware, like for example, a system per se overall, not only for your customers but also for Continental per se, in terms of implementing AI, machine learning, IoT, etc. at its plant?
The many of the COEs, what we talk about, it is not only done for customers but maybe for internally also. For example, I can give a example of maybe the RPAs, the robotic process automation. What we do, it is not only for external customers but we do it internally also to improve our processes. And artificial intelligence, whatever we are having, maybe another example would be requirement management, how we can do it in a better way. So a lot of
That's
these.
for sourcing.
Pardon?
Requirement management meaning?
No, requirement management for the software itself, for the V-cycle, when you are getting the requirements from the customer.
Okay.
So how exactly we look at it. So requirement management, AI is a very important. So like that, if you look at the entire development cycle, plus even supporting manufacturing, for the components, for the tires, everything, we are actually leveraging a lot of software technologies inside Continental itself, because that's the way to go with. We are talking about this digital economy and digitalization coming in a fast way. I think the software side is able to do a lot of support for manufacturing as well as the other areas.
Curious to know what percentage of total staff is women.
We have more than 32% of the people are women. Okay. So that's
scientists and engineers will be.
I can't tell the percentages, but I would say that we have a good amount of MTechs, a good amount of PhDs, and highly qualified people who are there in the staff. Yeah.
And do you see scope to increase the headcount? No?
We do see scope in increasing the headcount, and as I mentioned, for me it is more important is the value. So having probably more PhDs, more highly qualified engineers is also important, because when we are looking at this value journey of complete ownership of products project, we would also need more technical collaboration with the universities. For example, we have enough collaborations now with the IITs. We are doing some joint research together, having interns working here for a period of time. So I think these things become pretty much important. Yeah.
What are your plans for the Technical Center India for the next 5 years?
I think I stated it. It's basically the value growth and the volume growth, obviously.
No, do you see more scope? TCI is getting opportunities from headquarters and other places?
We will have many more opportunities which is coming up, because if it's the best cost location, we also come with a lot of advantages. But what we also need to do is we need to scale up again with all these new competencies. And India being, we have so many graduates who are passing out in engineering, and we have a very good training system, the software academy, many things in place. The opportunity for TCI is huge, and the outlook of the headquarters is also very positive. So I see that we would really grow in terms of the content of the work we are doing. I'm seeing ourselves contributing more towards continental as well as for the Indian market.
Okay, okay. Wherever there is electronics, wherever there is software, complexities are increasing. At the
Yeah.
same time, the industry, at least some segment of the industry that are using software and electronics, they are worried about the no code and low code concepts that are being talked about in a big way, which probably will lead towards de-skilling. So, what is it from the automotive perspective? As a head
Okay.
of TCI, what is your own view?
Okay, when you look at automotive, I cannot look at my area alone. It is the entire value chain, which probably include IT, commercial, manufacturing, a lot of other things, right? So this particular aspect, which is brought in by Gartner, and it is predicted to grow quite a lot. I think it is year on year 24% or something, I think was the prediction. So there, I think in terms of the commercial, IT, finance, and other things, I think this will come up in a big way. But personally, my opinion would be that when you look at the core automotive software, automation will come. But I think this kind of an extreme approach, it will take a longer time to come. There'll be a lot of deployment of RPA and artificial intelligence and many solutions. But the extreme scenario in the automotive space, I really don't see, because we are talking about safety critical applications.
Okay.
Yeah, so it might take some more time, is my view.
Okay, great. Lada, thank you so much for talking to Mobility Conversation.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, Murali, for the opportunity. Thank you.